Hey, here again with Road Marsh Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm here with Chris Lasker, and doing a video which I don't know if I'll post on YouTube. It's actually a request from a friend of mine in England. He's having trouble with a technique and a drill that I teach, and it's about how to stand up from the guard. When we're playing guard, especially close guard, we're trying to get back to our feet. The reason I'm not going to post too much about this is because I'm actually working on a DVD about escaping pins, and a lot of it is based off those concepts. But the point is, most people don't understand how to stand in base correctly. Standing in base has almost nothing to do with standing up. Okay, that's an end result of what you're doing with standing in base. Standing in base is why it's so important and why you shouldn't just practice it like whatever before class. Is because it's focused on getting my hips from a bottom position to a top position, and that is obviously incredibly important in jiu-jitsu. Being able to switch from bottom to top effectively and efficiently, meaning not trying to push somebody over. And the way we do that is basically by always threading that bottom leg or bottom hip underneath us. So I'm not rolling into something and pushing where I have no support behind me and I'm trying to push a wall over. If the wall is here, I'm able to pull that hip back. Now obviously if I do it to my feet, I can stand up very easily. Okay, so, but whether I do it to my knees or my hip is all kind of dependent on the circumstances, but the motion is exactly the same. It's always about pulling that bottom hip behind, so I have a base behind me, and I'm able to face down without, again, having to push into whatever obstacle I'm dealing with at the time. Now, because of that, and most people think of standing in base as just getting the foot behind them, they don't turn their hips over. They go like this. They stand and they try to put their foot, they go, I'm not flexible enough because their hips are still facing up, and there's no way they can do that. Or even if they lift their hips and bring their head down, they're still trying to keep their hips facing up. So I really want to focus on rotating that back hip behind me and facing down. It's a very strong pull motion, okay, versus kind of just rolling forward. So you really want to focus on pulling. Now, the way I tend to think about it is hip, knee, foot. So I want to put the foot down, it leads with the hip, leads with the knee, leads with the foot. Very much like a Muay Thai round kick. Leads with the hip, follows with the knee, follows with the shin. Okay? So I'm not doing this and tucking my foot and trying to pull my hip and trying to get the foot behind. My hip faces down, my knee faces down, my hip pulls back, my knee pulls back, my foot pulls back and plants. Okay? It's not this. So my hips actually never really even turned over, which means if I run into force, it's going to be easy for me to get run back over. Okay? It's also going to be harder for me to pull away from something. Okay, so again, it's about that pulling motion. I'm pulling my hip by already turning my hip over, pulling my knee, pulling my foot. Okay? It also means you don't need as much hip flexibility. A lot of guys, again, they tuck the foot, and they'll kind of circle it this way. Okay? One thing is, it's easy for somebody to kind of pull that knee. I can't pull that knee back underneath me if I'm keeping it tucked. Okay? So you're going to see this when we stand in base. So first we're going to start just a standing in base. He's not trying to do anything. And then we'll show you how to do it so that he can't stop us. Okay? So first let me get you on this side, Chris. So I'm in the closed guard. Right now, for now, he'll just have his hands on the mat. Here. What happens is people come here. Now they may pull the shin in and try to do this. This is making up for not being able to stand in base in my sense. Plus, if I go here, he's actually taught this tonight. He's going to lace the legs. He's going to really start playing this. Or he's just going to hold that leg. Okay? Just grab the leg. No, this one. He's going to hold that leg and maybe give me trouble. Okay, so just variety of problems. I don't want to have to go to this because I can't stand in base correctly. Now, you learn to stand in base the way I'm doing it. It won't matter whether I have the shin. I can use it with the shin across just as easily. But to test your ability to stand in base, do it without the shin. Okay? So where people have trouble is they'll come up into position, and then you just put that arm up in the air. And then because they won't step their hips up, they're trying to somehow, they're keeping their hips facing without turning them over. They're somehow trying to place that leg around that foot and get back, and it's very awkward. Okay? This is always my test for people to see if they know how to stand in base. Okay? So I don't want to bring my leg around. That requires a lot of flexibility. I want to turn my hips over, right? We talked about that. So my knee and hip point to the ground. So here, here. So my knee is already pointed to the ground, then I can pull it out, okay? So here he's trying to flatten me out, and even if he tries to hold that leg, it's here, okay? If I go around like this, and he starts to drive into me, he's going to flatten me out because my hips again were still facing up. If he tries to flatten me out now, and he drives into me, see I'm already in position here, okay? Now if he goes to the leg, we're going to have to sprawl, fight the single leg. But it's really important that here, when I post, that I'm not, see my hips are just turning this way. So it's important to understand one concept real quickly. When I shrimp, I get from my back onto my side. That's so that, one, there's no weight pressing on me. More importantly, there's space behind my back. So if I need to move away from an opponent, I want space behind my back. If I stay flat on my back, it doesn't help. So shrimping is the art of getting on your side. Standing in base is the art of getting your hips facing down. Okay? So I might shrimp back, but then to stand in base, I've got to complete the rotation. I've got to get my hips facing down. So we're here, even if he tries to hold onto my leg, if I try to circle, he's going to have it. I turn my foot down. Here. Okay? So one more time. I'm here, I sit up. I post my hand not to the side, but behind me. I'm posting on this leg. My rotation again is my hips go up, but my hip pulls. So pull the hip, pull the knee, pull the foot. The knee should slide, the shins should slide across his leg. Here. Okay? If you go to the leg, you can just kick. Now, with that being said, I don't want to fight that single leg. Right? What he has to understand is this. If I go this way, which leg do I need to post behind me, Chris? That one. That's the one if he has any knowledge of jiu-jitsu, he's gonna hold on to. That's the escape leg. Okay? So if I just do this and he's got a good grip on that leg, maybe he's got a pan leg or something, I'm not getting up, even turning my hips over. He's got a good enough grip. So I need to take this hand away. Okay? So the way we're gonna do that is I want him to post. And I want him to post at that corner. If I push straight back, he may not post. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit up. You can grab his collar. You can just post on his shoulder. I'm going to hold the collar for now. I'm going to sit up. And as I sit up, I'm going to open my elbow back at that angle. He either posts or I sweep him. Don't push with your arm. Okay? Especially no knee. Okay? So I'm using this elbow, wait for it a little bit, Chris. I mean, especially with smashing. Here, I'm going to shoot my hand in. I'm going to start flaring my elbow, rolling up on my hip, and posting until he gets here. Now I'm on my hand and foot. Again, I don't try to do that, right? Because even though he came down my leg, it's still awkward. I'm going to turn my hip over. Here. Now if he tries to come in, so I got a good grip. Okay? One more time. If he's staying super low and smashing me, here, this way from this one, okay? The way he's looking, the opposite arm, stay tight. Okay? I'm gonna do a little hip hop and shoot my hand right underneath. I'm gonna hold the gi tight, unlock, I'll get a little bit on my hip. I open my elbow. Even if he's trying to hold on. You just keep choking until I get back. That's what I want. Now, again, I know I keep repeating, I'm not doing this. My hips turn. My knee points down. My knee and hip pull back. Here, okay? You try to come in on this leg now. This leg I'm not that worried about. I can kick out of. This is a pretty easy grip. Especially if you can't lock his hands. Lock your hands? Yeah, he can. Okay? So again, this is the same motion you would use here. You get to your knees. The same motion you would use. That hip pull. I'm pulling the hip back. I'm not trying to roll. Okay. But since we have the added pressure going to our foot, again, it's not circling like this. It's not tucking and doing this. You can do that. but really think about the hip pulling, the knee following the foot, and getting your hips turned over. This is the motion, pulling my foot up. Okay. One more time. And here, I push, get on that back step, I keep the pressure forward, closed, I turn. Here. Okay. And hopefully that'll help a little bit on how to stand up from closed guard. Again, one reason I don't like to do this, you'll see people, they'll go here, we'll teach this, shrink away, get your shin in, sit up. That's fine if he's not going to do anything, he's just going to sit there and let me do it. Most likely at this point he's going to crush my legs. Here, okay? Or even if I do it, then I'm so far away from him trying to thread that leg around, he's not going to let me keep that distance, right? So, here, you should be able to do it fairly close. Here, okay? So, again, to my friend, I hope this helps. Anybody else who's interested, hope it helps as well. And this is a drill you should practice a lot because if you know me, you know I've been talking a lot. I talk a lot about self-defense. The most important skill set you have from the guard is the ability to get back up to your feet. It's not to sit here and roll underneath the guy's legs and play with his base, that's fine. But from a real fight perspective, the sooner I can get to my feet, the less I have to worry about other people being involved, him passing the guard, him punching me in the face, any of that sort of thing. So practice this, practice this, practice this. And again, thanks to Chris Lasker. And check out my website, ormarshjitsu.com.